All right, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, all praise, honor, and glory is to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Call Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. All praise, honor, and glory is due to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son for being gracious and merciful enough to reveal His marvelous light unto us, which comes in the form of the knowledge, wisdom, and proper understanding and breakdown of these scriptures. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who the Heavenly Father raised up to establish His words in these last days. I also want to say shalom, much due honors and respect to the sincere brethren out there that's also laboring, continually pushing out this gospel in all true faith and sincerity. So the topic of this lesson is going to be the fact that America is on borrowed time. And when I say America, I mean the so-called white man, all right? Which you so-called white people out there, your biblical nationality, your true nationality according to the Bible, is the nation of Edom, all right? You the Edomites. And when you do any research as concerning the Edomites, you'll come to find that the Edomites figure prominent as it pertains to prophecy, and in particular, the judgment from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, all right? This is the only nation that's not going to receive mercy from the Heavenly Father, which, when you examine it, if you examine that statement, if you're new to these teachings, if this is the first time you're coming across a video that's pushing the truth of the Bible, well, if you marveling at that statement, all you got to do is just look at the track record of the so-called white man. He's done nothing but rape, robbed, and murdered the planet Earth, man. All right? Oppressed all the nations. He's the main reason why you have certain animals and species at the brinks of extinction. The paper trail goes back to this man as concerning GMOs, the ocean polluted, all right? The ozone layer. Everything goes back to the so-called white man, who is the harbinger of death, all right? That's why he was set up to be adverse to everything in creation. That what makes him the enemy of the Heavenly Father and His Son, all right? But nevertheless, the topic of this lesson, or this sitting, is going to be entitled, America is on borrowed time. And again, that's dealing with the so-called white man. So before I get into the scriptures, I want to get the definition from the Merriam-Webster dictionary of borrowed time. It says, an uncertain and unusually uncontrolled postponement of something inevitable. All right? A postponement of something inevitable. And what's inevitable? The destruction of America. Although it's being postponed, all right? For an example, you have somebody that's, caught up in a judicial system, in a court system, and they might be charged and convicted of a crime, and they have a sentencing, all right? They have a day where they're going to be sentenced. It's inevitable that they're going to be sentenced, right? Whether the sentence is, the sentence might carry a minimum of 18 months and a maximum of 5 years. Yet, you're going to get sentenced, along those lines. So, your sentencing is inevitable, right? But let's just say the judge postponed that date that you're going to be sentenced. You might have been scheduled to be sentenced on a certain day, but the judge postponed it a month later. Well, that sentencing is inevitable, man. No matter what you do, you can scratch, you can claw, but that sentence date is coming. It's inevitable, and that's the same with America. The Lord has sentenced America to be destroyed in this thermonuclear holocaust that's going to be spearheaded by Russia. World War III is in the Bible, all right? And the purpose of World War III is to take down the so-called white man and his throne, which is America. So again, the definition there, an uncertain and unusually uncontrolled postponement of something inevitable. So that's why America being on borrowed time is an accurate idea, all right? And the so-called white man, especially the elite that come in the form of these national banking, international banking families, some know them as the Illuminati, that shadow government. Well, they know that they're on borrowed time, all right? They know that they're on borrowed time. And the scriptures actually support that. Start off in the book of Revelation, 12th chapter, in the 12th verse, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them." Yeah, and that's concerning the men that's in this truth, all right? Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, said the kingdom of heaven is within you. So the men that had this knowledge, we are considered the heavens, all right? Our conversation is in heaven. It says, "And ye that dwell in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time." See? And that devil is not talking about some guy under the ground in a red spandex suit, man, with a Triton in his hand and a neatly shaved goatee. That's a cunningly devised fable. The word devil means deceiver. The word Satan means adversary. So this is symbolic for the so-called white man, in particular the elites, the national banking families who have destroyed the earth. They know that they have but a short time. That's why they're going to come down with great wrath in the form of their martial law, all right? And ultimately to try to mandate that chip and pretty much to fulfill the Georgia Guidestones. I encourage you to research that, because with these elites, they got an agenda to depopulate the earth, man, all right? So they know that they have a short time, and that doomsday clock is proof of that, all right? It's proof that they are actually measuring the time that they got on the clock, all right? So they even understand that they're on borrowed time. So I want to go from there to the book of Psalms, the 37th chapter. And I start at the 12th verse. It says, "The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnashed upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming." Right, so that lines up with the analogy that I made about court. When you got a date that you sentence, you on borrowed time, man. So the Lord know that he's plotting against us, know that this man is plotting against us. But what? He got a day that's coming, that's sentencing day, all right? And we even know that. We see this man, he tried to rage, he's in the form of Donald Trump. He's stirring up the nations, This is a form of him basically going all out, tooth and nails, because in his spirit, he know that his day is coming. Matter of fact, this is Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 22. It says, "Fear ye not me, saith the Lord, will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree." Right, and when you really go into this is not actually talking about the physical sand that you see, even though the Lord did that. But it have a deeper meaning. This is talking about the rulership of kingdoms. They have a decree when they rule, then once they time is up, they fall. Matter of fact, I'm going to go back to this, but let me get some real quick, because that key word there's decree. This is Daniel 4 and 17. "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the bases of men." So it's the Lord who set up these nations to rule. And in this case, the so-called white man, all right? This is the time where the so-called white man is ruling. You had ancient kingdoms and empires prior to this kingdom, but now you had a so-called white man kingdom, which is an extension of the Roman Empire, the Greco-Roman Empire, all right? But that's another class for another day. So back in Jeremiah 5:22, fear ye not me, saith the Lord, will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it, right? So the so-called white man got a day that is set that he's going to fall. It says, and though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it, right? So this is the so-called white man. They roaring, you know, they raging, you know, they going to war, doing everything in their power to pass that boundary, but they can't pass it. All right. Matter of fact, the Lord spoke of that also in the book of Job, the 38th chapter, and start at the 10th verse. And break up it for my decreed place, and set bars and doors. Yeah, and that's that word decree again. The Lord set up kingdoms, but he put a boundary. All right? It's a door or a bar that they can't pass. Verse 11, and said, hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, and here shall thy proud waves be stayed. And that's talking about the so-called white man. They can't pass that boundary which was set up, meaning that they're on borrowed time. No matter what this man do, he can't go past this time that was set up, his time to rule. All right? This is the book of Proverbs, the 8th chapter, in the 29th verse. When he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment, and when he appointed the foundations of the earth. See, when the Lord gave the sea his decree, the sea is symbolic to all these different nations. They had a time to rule. That the water should not pass his commandment, right? So they can't, when the so-called white man number is called, then there's nothing he can do, man. He can't, there's nothing this man, he can't write any laws, legislations. He can try to go to war, you know, because that's his instinct. That's his natural instinct of survival. When all else fail, he revert back to his instinct, which is the sword. That's why you see this man, he's in survival mode. That's why you see him stirring up everything in the form of with Donald Trump spearheading, all right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to go into this lesson. Hope it was edifying. Until next time I say shalom.